The Auburn Tigers basketball team tips off the 2024-2025 season with a 94-43 victory over Vermont. Let's talk about it on this edition of the Uptempo Podcast. Yes, sir. Uptempo gang, Auburn family. Welcome back to the Uptempo Podcast, man. Dustin Smith, Blake Lane. Gonna talk some basketball, Blake. Finally, brother. It's been a long time coming, but man, didn't it feel good to see the Auburn Tigers just kick ass in something athletically and at home at that, protecting home court, doing what they needed to do, man.
Hey, it felt good. I was on the post game with Ike last night, and he asked me my final thoughts, and I said that, it feels good to just feel a win for the Auburn fan base with everything that we've been going through on the football field. I feel like the fan base needed this. I feel like the students at Auburn University needed this, and you wanted to have some fun, and feel the electricity of Neville Arena and that place really come to life. And I think Miles Kelly did that with going 7 of 9 from 3-point range. Heck of a night in the debut for him. But I liked what we saw from this basketball team, Dustin. And I know we're here to talk about that tonight. And it did give a breath of fresh air with everything going on the football field right now. It just feel like there's so much arguing between the fan base and this back and forth, man. This person wants to get rid of Hugh. This person wants to keep him. We're all wondering, well, now what happens if Auburn loses to Louisiana Monroe, and then here comes basketball. Basketball says, hey, we're here to save the day.
Yeah.
We're going to beat somebody by 51.
A good team, a good program.
A good program, a program that went to the NCAA tournament last year, was a preseason unanimous pick to win their conference again and go back to the NCAA tournament, who returned, like 90% of their roster from last year's team, who also beat UAB Monday night on opening night. So we all know what UAB brings to the table. That's been a pretty successful basketball program over the years. That's a solid win. And to beat Vermont by 51, I know it was in Neville, and I know it was Vermont. It is what it is. Anytime you beat somebody by 51, that's impressive, Dustin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, 55 straight non-conference wins at home?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you, Bruce. Thank you. It's nice to be on the right side of a stat, but that's impressive, bro. That's 55 straight, man. That's protecting home court, like you're handling business. And yeah, a lot of those are teams that you're expected to beat, but not all of them are. And also, like you've played some tough teams there. A good St. Louis team, good USC last year. They got an LA Lakers, but
he just got demoted to the G League.
Yeah, I'll leave it alone. But yeah, man, 55 straight. You're still handling your business. Like, you're still doing what you need to do to not have a slip up in any of those. It's a really, really impressive streak. And yeah, man, just thank you, Bruce. Thank you. I can trust Bruce Pearl to go out there and handle business. Oh, Auburn's a 17.5-point favorite tonight to open the season at home versus Vermont. We'll double that spread. Hey, we'll damn near triple that spread. Why don't you just watch this? So, yeah, very, very thankful for that. Before we really get into the game, Blake, because otherwise I'm going to forget, I just want to say right before the game, I saw where Sonny Smith is stepping down from the broadcast team. He's retired. Just want to say thank you to Sonny for everything from radio, coaching, everything, supporting and promoting Auburn basketball that he's done. I think it's cool that he got to see in the later part of his life, he's got to see Auburn basketball become what it is today. So just want to say, man, shout out to Sonny. You've been a great ambassador for Auburn basketball for a long time, and we appreciate it, man.
Hey, I agree with Ike's take on go out and get Chuck. Go out and get Chuck, see if he can replace the role. Let him start calling games.
Hey, now.
I think Charles Barkley would be the perfect fit.
Yeah.
Just to have him on the mic for Auburn basketball and to bring that, I would say, to bring even more excitement to the program, because those kids, they want to be around Charles. In TNT, I believe this is their last year of the contract. They're done after this year. So, and I know Chuck said something that he wanted to go into retirement, but he would come to Auburn and run that radio call, man. Like, come on.
That'd be electric, man.
Yeah, that would be the perfect fit.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope to see that. That'd be awesome. Let's take a look at some of the stats, man. 94-43 win. Auburn shoots 56% from the field, and Bruce Pearl does what Bruce Pearl does. Vermont shoots 25.9. I have missed watching Bruce Pearl coach the defensive side of the court in basketball. It's just great. It's so fun. I love watching the opposing coach just try to figure out, and then at about the 10-minute mark of the second half, realize, you know what, man, I just can't do anything with this. They're coming at me every which way. Hell, I can't even inbound the ball half the time. Vermont shoots 5 for 23 from the three-point line. Obviously, we defended the three-point line well. And then, man, if we can shoot even close to this, Blake, it's going to be one hell of a year. 16 for 35, 45.7%. Only 6 of 11 from the free throw line. I don't have any expectations for Auburn at the free throw line, but I will say, 11 of them, if you miss a couple, the percentage is going to be pretty bad. You jacked up 35 threes. You didn't go to the hole a lot. Out rebounded on 43-31. Defensive rebounds, 35-21, 15 assists to their 6, 7 blocks to their 3, 10 steals to their 6, and then obviously forcing them into 16 turnovers. And continuing the trend that Auburn had last year, single-digit turnovers. If you can do that, man, you're going to win a lot of games, only 9 turnovers. So just looking at these stats overall, Blake, man, it's can't ask for much better to open the season. You see, when you're playing a solid defensive team like Vermont, a solid program like Vermont that always wins a lot of games, is always their conference champion, always goes dancing. I was expecting Auburn to win. I was expecting Auburn to cover, 18, 25-point range. To be this crisp night one is kind of what stands out to me. Like for it to just look this smooth and this easy for this team this early. That's kind of my takeaway from it.
Yeah, Dustin, the glaring stat on this line right here to me is 15 shots made for Vermont, 16 turnovers.
Yeah.
They turned it over more than they made shots. That's a recipe for disaster, and that's also a recipe of Bruce Pearl cooking it up on the defensive end. And I'll tell you what, the biggest part of this team is their length and how long they are at the guard position this year. It's different than years past. You got Miles Kelly, 6'6". All right. You got Pegues. I think he's 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
All right. Denver Jones, 6'4". Like Auburn, I think Tahad is 6'1", and I think Ike said last night he's the smallest guy on the team. So we're not getting beat on dribble drive. We have guys that can move. They're long. If they do get beat, they can make up for it. It's no more of this 5'11" guard that can't play defense, and he's constantly turning it over on offense. We have guys that can play. We have guys that can create their own shots. We don't have to get in pick and roll late in games and have to force the ball to Jonah. He had a quiet night last night. We have guys that can dribble drive, pop mid-range. Chad Baker-Mazar, kudos to him, man. Congrats. Way to bounce back after the way last year ended. To come out, to find your shot early, get it going. I love CBM's game. Get into that mid-range, that elbow right there, man. He's unstoppable. That is his shot. There's guys on this Auburn team that can shoot it, and they're long at the guard position. That is going to do wonders for this Auburn team. And it's also going to do wonders for you Saturday when you have to go up against a Houston who has suffocating defense. You're going to have to create your own shot. They're good. You're not going to get to see many open threes. You're gonna have to create some offense. And if that means dribble drive, pull up mid range for a quick two, that's what we're gonna have to do. And I liked Miles Kelly in the way he missed those first two shots, Dustin, and he bounced right back. He said, I'm gonna keep shooting. And he was letting it fly. He heated up. Denver Jones, I think he's elite on both ends. And not just the SEC. I think the country, Dustin. I think he's that elite that we could be talking about this kid nationally for awards at the end of the season. I think this is his year to really step up. And we saw it last year, towards the end of the year, him coming on and finding his role.
Yeah.
But this year, it's go time. And I'm not even going to harp on Tahad. That's just first game. There was a little bit of nervousness. You could tell he probably had some butterflies in there for a minute. And I think Jakai had some butterflies there, especially when he went to the free throw line early on. He missed both of them. I'm not going to harp on the freshman. You saw the athleticism, and one thing about Tahad is, yeah, he might be 6'1", but he competed defensively. It wasn't like Aiden Holloway where he was almost unplayable because defense just didn't exist. So this Auburn team is different this year, and it starts at the guard position, man.
Yeah, it's hard to not get excited about a newcomer coming in and going 7 for 9 from the 3-point line, giving you 21 points, man. Yeah, and he missed those first two shots badly. I'm thinking, oh no. And from then on, man, he was red hot. I love your take about Denver. I love it. And I think you're right, man. He is just a lead on the defensive end of the floor. And then when you have a guy that can guard the perimeter, and if you try to go to the basket on him, his technique is so sound. Just quick hands. His footwork is perfect. I love watching him play. 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Love that, Denver. So going to be watching throughout the season. Let's do that in clutch moments. Let's do that late in the game. Let's hit those free throws. But, yeah, man, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. CBM going 3 for 7. Janai only having to have 11 field goal attempts, only having to play 22 minutes. I'll be interested to see. I actually had this discussion. This is probably before we even started the pod. Me and my brother would talk a lot about Janai Broom. Can he play the 4? I think his game probably works better for the 4, especially if he wants to play pro ball. So I'm very interested to see if this combination that started last night of him at the 4 and Dylan at the 5, I want to see how that goes as the season goes on. I think a lot of that, Blake, is going to be dependent on the 4 and 5 guys behind them, the depth at the big spots behind them. If the guys that are behind Dylan and Janai can step up and be productive, the Chaney Jones of the world, the kid in from SMU, was that Patterson? Still getting used to him, Patterson or Williams, one of them. But yeah, so if those guys can step up and give you productive minutes off the bench, then I think this combination of Dylan and Janai is very interesting, and I think that it can work out. I think it could be hell for teams defensively, especially late in games. So that's just something I'm kind of watching moving forward. I hope that it'll work out. But again, that's just kind of up on the backup. So I see a team that is really versatile at the guard position. I think we're more versatile at the guard position than we've been in a long time. Yep. I think that we have more shooters. And I think that anybody that listened to this podcast last year knows how much you harped on our size of our guards when it came time for March. And I think Bruce Pearl addressed that, man. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup coming up versus Houston. Like you said, a great defensive team. And Bruce said it today in his press conference addressing Houston. He said, first 1 to 50 is probably going to get this dub. It's a big time atmosphere. Going to be in the Toyota Center there in Houston, Saturday, 8:30 Central Time on ESPNU. Going to be a lot of football on, but hey, we got a bye week. So still give us something to look forward to on Saturday. What I'm looking for in this Houston game, Blake, is I think we've learned that competitive losses to good teams in a regular season, it doesn't hurt you at all. As long as you stay competitive, it's going to go when the selection committee goes to make their choice. If Auburn loses by 3 to Houston Saturday, and obviously I want us to win and all that kind of stuff, but what we've learned is they're going to value that more than they'll value winning a conference tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They just do.
That's facts.
Do. They've shown it the last 2 or 3 years. They've shown us that multiple times. But we saw that firsthand last year. So, I think back to the loss versus Mississippi State last year, and I saw you had this comment starred because we lose that game at Mississippi State on the road last year at the Hump, a place that's tough to play.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people come out and this team sucks. And hey, listen, man, a close loss Saturday to Houston would not be bad at all. So I want to see this team just come out. I would like to, obviously I want to see Tahad get his feet up under him, play better than that. But I just want to see us be competitive, man, and put up a hell of a fight. And I think we will, with a very good chance to win the game. It's going to come down to hitting a couple big shots, in my opinion. Those last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, who steps up and makes the big shot?
Yeah, and going back to the guard thing real quick, Dustin, is I loved the Harper run that we had, right? Like, it was fun, it was free. Like, Bruce let the boys play. It was fast paced, transition, get it out. Steph Curry passing up the easy bucket and kicking it for 3. Hey, it was great. All right. But in today's game, when I look at the way college basketball is going, man, we could no longer go the route of Wendell Green at guard. And that's not a knock at Wynn. He did great things. But when I look at national championship contenders, when I look at the North Carolinas, the UConns, the Kansases, man, you don't see 5'11" guards out there. Like, you don't see 5'10" guards. You don't. UConn's roster, show me a guy that was under 6'5" last year. That's why they're so good defensively. They can create their own shots, get to the mid-range game. When they're struggling on offense, they get a 10-footer, pop it, bang. That's it, man. Like, we get trapped coming across half court in Starkville, and we can't beat it. That's just, we get blown by Wong from Miami all night long because we couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
Because our guard play just wasn't there. And, hey, love Zep Jasper, but he brought you nothing offensively. And now we're looking at a team. You're really athletic, man. You're really, really athletic. You can shoot it. You're long. And it's going to be a fun year, Dustin.
Yeah.
Now, Saturday, got Houston, neutral site game, whatever, in the Toyota Center. Like me and Ike said last night, I guess this is payback for Birmingham 2 years ago. But what Houston does is they're similar to Vermont, in my opinion, man, on offense. Is, I don't mean that like talent-wise, y'all.
Right.
I mean like
style.
Yeah. Their style offensively is similar to Vermont. There's a lot of dribble drive, kick to the open man, and they're going to shoot some threes. And then defensively, it's tight, man. It's tough. They're going to mix things up. You're going to see them. You're going to see them run a little 2-3 zone. You're going to see them in man. They defend the ball screen really well. It's Kelvin. I saw a little video, and he said that we don't trap off the ball screen. He said we just set the line of scrimmage, like we defend the line of scrimmage. Y'all, it's a trap. Anytime they go ball screen, they're trapping the ball handler. Okay, so I want to see, if we do go into that, I want to see what our guards can do against that Houston defense. I think it's going to be 2 really good college basketball coaches strategically working against each other, and may the best man win. And you're going to get another dogfight. If you remember 2 years ago, they were a lot better than we were, y'all. We had a double-digit lead on them at half. They were a lot better than we were. So that is Bruce Pearl's coaching. I think we just ran out of gas in that game, and we went cold from the field. Will this Auburn team go cold from the field? I don't know. From the way it looked the other night, it felt like this Auburn team can shoot it a little bit better than previous teams. So that's where I'm at right now, Dustin. I think it's going to be a hell of a battle.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point about the ball screens. Bruce talked about that today. He talked about how good they are at trapping in the ball, coming out the ball screen, and then he said, well, but we do a lot of ball screens, so we'll see how it plays out. It is going to be a fun matchup. Two great college basketball minds going at it. The X's and O's part of that game is going to be fun. And one thing I'm looking at too, Blake, and this really, really tough non-conference schedule that Bruce has put together is last year. I think every win was a blowout. Like literally every win was a blowout. I don't see that playing this non-conference schedule. So you lost all the close games, or pretty much all the close games that you did have last year. You won a whole lot of games by double digits. You come out there shooting the lights out. I want to see this Auburn team. Maybe it doesn't happen versus Houston. But I do think it will be a tight game, so I think they'll have their chance. But whether it be Purdue or whoever, I want to see this Auburn team respond, maybe down 3 or 4 points with 2.5 minutes to go, and hit the big three, get the stop, get the bucket, find a way type thing. That's kind of the next step for this program. And then, I don't think it's any coincidence that you got into a tournament game last year. You got into a close game all of a sudden, and you weren't able to close it out, and you got upset because you hadn't won one of those games all season. So were you about to win it now with the lights on the brightest in the tournament? Yeah. Probably not. And CBM getting kicked out, everything that went along with that, it just wasn't there. So in this non-conference slate, that's one thing I'm watching is the intangibles of this team. And Bruce Pearl, if he gets the last possession, can he draw up something other than like a 35-foot fade away from three? Like let's find a way to pull out some of these close games, man. And I think this team has the potential. I think you have multiple guys that can hit that last shot of the game. I mean, Kelly, obviously, after last night, you're looking at that and saying, boy, if we need a three. But like we've seen on the football side, some of that's just intangibles. So I want to see this year who those guys are that when we need a bucket late, when we need to stop late, who do we go to? And I think that we're going to start figuring that out Saturday night because it's going to be a really close game. It's going to be a tight game. And I echo what Bruce said. If somebody gets, I think it's 60. I think, if I could definitely see the winner winning 58, 54, 57, 52 type thing. If you get to 60, then you probably got the dub. So, but I'm really, really excited, Blake. And I think I'm going to pull up some of these comments here. Did you want to elaborate on Ernest here? So I know you had put this one up.
Oh, no. I found it funny because it's really true. And, I get it. Like it's frustration, and I don't want to see that this year because Auburn's going to lose games, and my point to this is, would you rather go 27-4 and play a really soft schedule and lose to Yale in the first round or somebody like that, or a Vermont or, a Mercer or somebody? Or would you rather go like 22-8 and be a 3 seed because you played a really tough schedule? They love you in the KenPom, and you had a couple of non-con tough losses to blue blood teams or Purdue, who was in the Natty last year. Like, I would choose the harder schedule in 22-8 and play in the grinded out schedule, because last year we just weren't ready down the stretch. We played a really weak schedule and we racked up the dubs, but we weren't that good. In my opinion, honestly, like we just got hot towards the end of the year and we got into the tournament and we got exposed. And I would rather go the tough route, Dustin. I would rather play what we're doing now, kind of like we did back in the day. Kind of like those 2019, 2020 teams, man, where they didn't care. Hey, Duke and Maui, let's go play it. Let's go do it. I want that, man.
Yeah, well, we're going to Cameron Indoor this year, and that's going to be we'll definitely have to put out a bet there. How many more over under does Duke shoot 25 more free throws than Auburn? Michael says, War damn Eagle fellas, who all was riding with me to watch Auburn play in the Final Four this year? I like the optimism, Mike. I'll say this. I just want to get out the first weekend. My view on college basketball is always, hey, if you can get to that Sweet 16, then everything from there on is extra. But yeah, I would love a Final Four appearance, man. I'd love to get that natty.
Where's it at this year? Oh, it's in San Antonio. My God, look, I'll be there if Auburn makes it, but I ain't riding, brother. I'll catch the flight, and I'll see you when you get there.
Are they gonna let Charles Barkley do the coverage down there in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Okay. He's had a lot. He's had a lot to say about the women from San Antonio over the years.
Oh, really?
You ain't never seen those bits?
Yeah.
He I'll send you. I'll send you some videos. Chuck stays getting on the women of San Antonio. He's not. He doesn't find them too attractive.
Man.
Devin says, "We're Eagle family. What an awesome game last night. It just rained in threes. My husband asked me why I was still watching, and I said because it's fun. I enjoy watching my team smack another team around. Yeah, the most disappointing thing about last night, Devin, was not getting 6 more. You wanted to get the triple digits. It's always fun to watch an Auburn blowout." Brett saying that Hudson is the power forward from SMU. Yeah, Jaheim Hudson, 6'7", 230-pound senior from Hinesville, Georgia. Had a couple of them names backwards there. Richard Reeves says this could be a really good team. I think it is. And, me and Blake had kind of mentioned this throughout the summer when we saw Bruce build this non-conference schedule. We were like, hey, Bruce isn't doing that if he isn't super confident and have big expectations for the what he's got on the team this year. Miss Angela Crotchfeld is here saying, good evening, Up-Tempo family. Good evening, Miss Angela. Hope you and the family are well. You know that we love you and we appreciate you. Stuart says, War Damn Eagle, Stuart. Thank you for always being in here. Yeah, Brett, you said it.
I didn't say that. San Antonio.
Yeah, no, that's what Chuck started it. Brett says, I'd rather win them all with a tough schedule, Blake. So he said, hey, I'd rather play all these hard teams and still get them 27, 28 wins.
Yeah, I'd rather, I'd rather win them all, but that Cooper Flag right now, looks like he's a guy. So that one might be a little iffy in Cameron Indoor.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be iffy. One thing I've learned since Bruce Pearl's been our coach is we ain't getting the calls, baby. We ain't getting the calls, and I do not expect to get them in Cameron Indoor Stadium versus Duke because I don't think anybody has ever. I mean that Maui game was eye opening. I didn't know as an SEC team. I was like, oh, this is what this is like. Oh, okay, yeah, we're just getting mauled at the basket, and it's nothing. It's nothing. But hey, listen, man, I appreciate you guys being in here. Hit that like button, sub to the channel. We will be back sometime later. And then we've got a bye week this week for football, man, but we do got the big Houston game. So follow us on the socials. We'll let y'all know when we got the episode coming out. I will do the preview tomorrow for our guys, for our members, a preview of the Houston game. We'll take a kind of a deep dive into Houston's roster, look at their stats, talk about maybe where Auburn can find some advantages, where Houston may be able to find some weaknesses in Auburn. We'll take a full breakdown, look at that game, man, and we'll drop that for the members sometime tomorrow or early Saturday morning, so you guys have plenty of time to get that in. I just want to tell you guys thank you, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's good for basketball season to be here. I'm really, really excited about the potential of this team. I see depth, which is becoming the staple of Bruce Pearl. I see versatility. And the cool thing about this, Blake, is that with basketball, it's not that I'm not complacent. I still enjoy all the wins. Last night was great. But Bruce has put this program at a point now to where I have big expectations. So from game one, I'm thinking about what this team can become in March. That's the way. Yeah. That's the way I view Auburn basketball now, and that's awesome. So that's just kind of what I'm looking at. We got a really tough test coming up Saturday, and I want to see how this team responds. I think this team has all the potential to make a deep run in March. I'm going to enjoy the journey as we get there. Really, really excited, man, for what Bruce Pearl has built here. And I think this is going to be a really fun year yet again for Auburn basketball on the Plains.
I'm with you 100%, man. Bruce has done wonders on the Plains, and just to have us sitting here talking about basketball in early November, when we're in the midst of football season, that's something that you used to not be able to say for Auburn sports. That your football team has 3 wins right now, and your basketball team has played 1 game, and they almost equal the amount of wins your football team has.
Might catch them by next week.
That's it. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got, Hugh. That's all I got, brother. Fix it. Get it fixed. That's it. War Dam.
Yeah.
Go basketball. See you Saturday night. It's going to be a hell of a day.
Yes, sir. War Dam Eagle, man. Y'all hit that like button. We'll see y'all next time.